The House will come to order.
The halls and floors of the state capitol coming back alive as the 2024 legislative session started up this afternoon. And today, one of the very first things on the to-do list, revisiting a controversial law passed last session on school resource officers.
Dozens of schools and law enforcement agencies pulled their SROs last year, saying the law had too much of a gray area about what they could and couldn't do. Well, tonight, Danny Spiewak joins us live from the Capitol with the latest discussion on this topic today. Danny?
Well, DFL lawmakers have quickly on this first day of the session introduced a new bill that would make changes to that law that was really heavily criticized last year when it was passed in a spending bill that basically restricted school resource officers from using certain restraints against students at certain times in certain situations. But today, judging by the first public hearing, there's still a lot of work lawmakers have left to do to make everybody happy.
I call to order this meeting of the House Education Policy Committee.
On the first day of the legislative session,
Good to be back in a new year.
the House Education Policy Committee wasted no time addressing an issue that's been the source of criticism for months.
I think we gave a word that we were going to talk about this right away.
Last year, as part of a broader spending bill, DFL lawmakers passed a measure banning school resource officers from using certain restraints, like face-down prone position, unless there was a threat of serious injury or death. Police groups said the language was too vague and opened them up to liability, leading dozens of agencies to pull their SROs.
On the docket today that we're going to hear, it's House File 3489.
Well, the purpose of the hearing today was really to hear from all the interested stakeholders.
DFL Representative Cedric Frazier is sponsoring a bill that makes several changes to the law. That includes exempting SROs from the restrictions on restraint policies, adding new training around mental health and juvenile justice, and creating a statewide standard for SROs.
We're not walking back the law, and we're going further to create a comprehensive model that'll be across the state, and that's not what exists right now.
But a number of community groups and parents are blasting the proposal, saying the original law should stand.
In what world do we live in where we as a society think restricting the breadth of children is appropriate in a school setting?
Prone restraints are most definitely not a necessity in schools.
Please listen to the voices of Minnesota's youth as you go about this legislative session, because our future and our safety are in your hands.
At the same time, law enforcement groups are still asking for more explicit language in the law, and Republican Representative Ben Bakeberg proposed an amendment Monday which failed that would have stopped the bill from implementing statewide guidelines for SRO behavior.
The model policy would simply be another restriction on law enforcement.
The complexities of this bill will be sorted out in the coming weeks.
Nobody's really happy on this, right? And what that tells me is we're at a spot where we've got some compromise.
So we saw the first hearing in the House committee today. You've got two more committee hearings in the House this week, also a hearing in the Senate. Then after that process is finished, it can go to the floor for a debate in front of the full legislature, the House and the Senate, and then there can be votes at some point in the coming weeks, we're expecting. Back to you.